Hello, welcome to a Very Explosion Network Christmas, our podcast dedicated to the merriest of holidays, the festive season with films about Santa, snow, or being left home alone. The time of year we all come together and argue with carolers, a Christmas movie. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley, and helping me grow my heart 3 sizes of Christmas cheer is Dylan Blight.
Yes, it is.
Straight to the point this time. On this episode of A Very Explosion Network Christmas, we're discussing the latest episode of the Santa Clauses, Chapter 4, The Shoes Are Off the Bed Clause, directed by Charles Randolph-Wright, written by Ari Berkowitz and Alison Bennett. Scott adjusts to life in Chicago and has an identity crisis while Simon settles in at the North Pole and winds up further diminishing the Christmas spirit. Dylan, what do you think of the latest episode of the Santa Clauses?
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I like seeing Scott and the family back in Chicago doing their stuff. Chicago.
Doorbells. I'm from Chicago. That's bad.
Doing their family stuff, trying to work out a board game. Like how Carol goes back to her school. The kids make friends in the different sorts of ways. I thought it made it for fun. It definitely, again, but something like where I felt like the first episode like sort of dragged it out a bit, and it seems like 5 episodes have stretched out to 6. Like, yeah, I definitely feel like we could have just got to this a lot quicker, and the show would have been fine. And then everything with Simon North Pole going shit was fun too.
Fake Santa.
Fake Santa. Yeah, really enjoyed it. It's probably my favorite so far, I would say. The one I've enjoyed the most so far.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. I think, obviously more of the fun, zany stuff that we kind of expected. Scott struggling to let go of Santa, being Santa, whether it's giving the most crazy coffee order possible, which involves absolutely no coffee and entirely a lot of cocoa and as much cookies and cream and sprinkles as you possibly can put into a coffee order, while also telling the waitress, the barista, his name is Santa Claus, which, she exasperated. Can't put up with this anymore. She's just working for tips. Yeah, and just him not really having anything to do while everybody else in the family has suddenly got their own thing. He was talking about it in all these previous episodes about wanting to spend more time with his family, and then the irony is his family doesn't have any time for him. Yeah, so that's been...
The message of the show is he's going to go back to being Santa, and the man's always right.
Yeah, it's it's always green on the other side, We always think things could be better when we, change stuff, but, it just brings on a whole new set of problems.
That's right.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, so that was fun. Seeing Carol, very happy to be interacting with other adults for a start, and, being super happy about not being Mrs. Claus, having very quickly getting a job despite not having any teaching experience for the last 29 years. Bit of a jump, You'd think there'd be maybe some more qualified candidates to fill a principal role at a new charter school.
I don't know. Her resume, she was the principal there. It's not like she hasn't been working. She just did a different career. They always say once you go Prince, you never go back. And by Prince, I don't mean the symbol formerly known as Prince the artist. I mean principal. Once you never go Prince, you never go back.
I also enjoyed the weird story. They have a bunch of backstories that they've been working on as to what they've been doing this entire time, and they finally land on Carol being a plane rescue person in Alaska for the last 29 years, and she miraculously saved Scott with some sort of Cessna, that he needs her to tell the story of because he can't remember how it happened. That was enjoyable. It was funny to see Buddy fall in love with the first girl that he comes across, the first girl that he bumps into. again, he's super happy just to be in an American school. Like, lists off a bunch of different things. Like, there's a bunch of jocks and a bunch of psychogoths, and this American school is great. But yes, he does fall in love with the first girl that he bumps into. Who then proceeds to leave that school, like, in the very next scene. Freaking weird.
Very weird plot thread. That doesn't really need to be introduced for any reason.
No, it doesn't make any sense, because you would think they would have, like make it super easy for them to hang out, or explain why they're always together. Why would you have this obstacle of them not going to the same school anymore?
Can't turn out she's working for Simon the entire time, or the secret witch of the West, East, or I don't know.
It's actually Bernard in a dress.
There we go.
But, we do get an explanation as to Buddy's name. Why he's called Calvin. And apparently now he is Calvin, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Yes, he explains that...
Because, I don't know if you know, but Scott Calvin's last name's Calvin.
Yeah. But then he's also called Calvin, so now he's Calvin. Calvin.
Yeah, well, because it used to be Claus, so it was Calvin Claus.
Yeah, that's true.
Now they've reverted back to his
but his real name is Buddy, so I mean, you should just go by Buddy. What, you're ashamed to be called Buddy in like the normal world? No, don't think that's appropriate.
I don't know who would have such a stupid name.
Definitely not cutting that audio out for years. Then we've also got like Sandra kind of, dealing with it by smuggling animals into the school, pulling bunny rabbits out of her pockets and turtles out of her jacket. She does,
which Scott has to confiscate.
He does have to confiscate. She does end up making a bunch of friends, but only after stopping a runaway horse, which she runs down. That's an interesting point. Like, she was able to run down this horse fast as a horse. It's not that she can
talk to the horse. It's that she, really, it's superhuman speed.
Yeah. But then she does talk to the horse, and the horse talks back, which is a weird thread to, again, bring up.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the payoff's going to be for this. Like, this whole, I can talk to, I'm the fucking Dr.
I guess she's going to be the chief reindeer wrangler. I guess if she can talk to all the animals.
But no one else can talk to animals, right? That's never been a...
No, that's not a thing, unless you count them talking to Prancer and Chet.
Yeah, but they don't talk back. It's just they're talking. Like,
they kind of did.
If talking to animals makes you a horse whisperer, makes you an animal whisperer, I'm like pro,
Yeah, so, Scott gets a job at whatever Simon's delivery company is.
Deliver anything, anytime.
Delivery anytime.
It's literally the Amazon slogan, but like...
Yeah, but
just as the
name of the company.
Yeah.
But, he doesn't last very long in that job after. Yeah. Over on the North Pole, Simon's first day at the job proceeds to lose the Santa cloak. A cloak that we find out later was made from the cloak of St. Nicholas, so implying that St. Nicholas wasn't a Santa? Possibly? That's a weird way to phrase it. Would you just say, like, the first Santa Claus?
Or maybe they just meant it was made from his cloak. Like he created a cloak, and then they made the one from his cloak.
Possibly.
Or else they're implying that St. Nicholas is a woolly beast.
Yeah.
Krampus was the true St. Nicholas.
No, I think it was but St. Nicholas's cloak, it was made out of that. But, why wouldn't they... Was St. Nick the first Santa? Or, was he a separate entity?
It's an angel. It's made from his wings. From heaven.
Anyway, Simon's solution is to make the worst knockoff cloak possible that the elves don't question at all, because the elves love Santa and just go along with anything he says.
Well, most of them.
Do you reckon the reason sure, there's story reasons the cloak doesn't think he should be Santa, but another reason is so they don't have to put Kelpen in a fat suit?
No, I maybe
it's like...
I mean, there's work.
It's a lot of makeup. Let's just make him a millennial.
Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he doesn't want to do it. But I mean, the cloak's basically a sorting hat, I guess.
It is, yeah. He's like, nah, you can't be Santa.
Yeah, no. Slytherin!
But yeah, after being explained how they deliver presents all the time, everywhere, Simon's like, hey, I should use that to just run my business that I've been working on. My failed business. Now I can deliver anything everywhere all the time. Super fast, and the elves just go along with it because, he's Santa and they just have to go along with it. Betty is against it. Noel's against it, trying to advise him not to. Noel challenges him to a duel with candy canes, even calling him out and says the reason his daughter isn't showing up to work anymore is because he's ashamed of what he's doing to Christmas. But Betty stops the fight before, Noel can win. Because I would.
He could have been killed. Could have been killed. Yeah.
Yep.
There could have been spilt candy over this. Right.
Spilt candy all over the place. So Noel writes a letter on Betty's desk, leaves her a note saying that he's going to go find Scott, so he can come back and get rid of this fake ass Santa, and to come look for him if he wants, if she cares, whatever. Simon comes in, sees the note, rips it up, completing his heel turn into a true bad guy.
Yeah.
Because anybody who rips up a note that is left for somebody else is definitely the bad guy of the story. It's just, classic storytelling.
Storytelling 101.
It is storytelling 101. Even to the point where he full on lies to Betty's face. And she's like, I haven't seen Noel. Do you know what happened to him? It's like, nah, sorry. So throughout this entire episode, they talk about how all these elves have been disappearing, which is an odd occurrence because no elves have ever, not shown up for work.
What was the one thing where she's like, oh, there was this one guy once, but it turned out he had flatulence or some very specific weird thing.
It was he had blue mouth or something. It's like he ate a bunch of blue
Too much
M&Ms.
candy. Right, blue M&Ms. That was it. Yeah, I remember it being some weirdly specific joke. Yeah.
So yeah, it turns out at the end of the episode, Eddie, like the troublesome elf that we've been kind of following along throughout the entire series, calls out Simon for his bullshit and says, you're destroying Christmas by, not making Christmas this thing that kids look forward to. If, if everybody gets everything they want all the time, then, there's no need for Christmas because there's no need to look forward to this day. There's no scarcity. And then, she proceeds to end game out of the TV series.
Yeah.
Santa, I don't feel so good.
Pixie dust, yeah. Can you also imagine if you had to buy Christmas presents for someone every single day, for family every single day? Imagine if Christmas is every day. Like, logistics on that. Every day you have to give gifts.
Yeah, gifts would be much smaller.
Yeah. Morning, today I've got you.
It's a bauble with today's date on it. This exact
date.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. And wait until you see tomorrow's gift. I don't want to spoil
it's the first beer in a 6-pack. I wonder what the next 5 days are.
You get a whole month out of it. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea, actually.
Yeah, so, Betty's like, hey, we need to stop. You're killing the elves, pretty much. Without Christmas, with Christmas being so terrible, elves are disappearing, which she kind of speculated was going to happen because Christmas was already going on a downturn. And old Simon's like, nah, you're fired. I know what I'm doing. Fuck Christmas. I don't need your elves, really. I just need the magic delivery system. So yeah, Betty goes and visits the Christmas witch, who's out, who happens to have the Santa Claus jacket. Whoa, it was with her the entire time.
Is it bad?
We also
quick side note.
We kind of
is it bad that when I was reading the episode descriptions prior to this episode starting, I remember seeing episode 3 was called The Christmas Witch, or there was a character in IMDb credited as Christmas Witch. I was like, oh, there's a bad guy for the entire show.
It's like, nah, it's just a It's
Yeah,
just a person who happens to be a witch.
Yeah, they tricked me.
That's witch bigotry.
My stereotyping,
my stereotyping of witches.
Of all witches came through, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Betty goes up and says, "Hey, I need to talk to him." And the witch is like, "Oh, you need to talk to Scott." "Well, I'm sure I can arrange that." He's like, "Nah, I need to talk to him."
Yeah.
Dylan, who could him be?
It is one of three things. Let's put him in.
Well,
do a little.
So at the end of the episode, Scott is like preparing to decorate the Christmas tree with his family. His family freezes in place, and a gloved hand is about to tap Scott on the shoulder in a crazy cliffhanger that you would have expected in the show.
I got 3, 2, 1. Ready?
Okay.
Third likely, so the least likely is out of my top 3. The Molinator.
Oh, Tooth Fairy.
Tooth Fairy. Just saying. They have a,
It's like, listen,
him and Scott have a close relationship.
The Council of Legendary Figures says need to, because you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Is fucking up Christmas so much, it's ruining the rest of it for everybody.
Yeah, they're ruining it for everyone. If Christmas is every day, can't fucks up other holidays, so they should have something.
Yeah, it's over. You're overstepping.
Yeah. Number 2, the OG Santa Claus.
Yeah, like a ghost of Santas of Christmas past kind of thing.
Yeah, Santas of Christmas past. And number 1, simply because we know he's in it, so I'm putting it above the second option. Bernard.
Possible.
Mm.
Probably the most likely, but the editing of the two scenes together kind of implies that they wouldn't be taking place like immediately together, or they're taking place at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but she could be talking to someone else, and Bernard could be showing up.
You don't think she's going to be talking to Bernard?
She could be talking to the Molinator.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Jack Frost. It's like Silence of the Lambs.
Oh,
she has to talk
Jack
to
Frost.
She has to talk to a villain to get help to solve to
redeem Jack Frost. Yeah.
She's like, "Remember when you were bad? How do I stop this?"
Yeah. At this point, what is the order of the villains? Jack Frost, Clone Santa, or Simon?
Like of good villains, or just
of the worst possible Santas?
The worst possible, like at their jobs?
Yeah, the job of Santa, which was the worst.
The worst at their jobs.
Which one of the order of the Santa that you don't want to the one you would be okay with?
Number 3. So I'm going. Number 1's the Santa I want the least, right?
Yeah.
So number 3, I'm going to go Simon, because so far he's just Christmas every day, and
That's
eventually I just go, family. I'm an atheist. Like this holiday was never for me in the first place. I'm going to choose to sit Christmas out. It's at some stage just pull that card.
I guess Christmas just continues, but it's just no Santa.
Yeah, like you have a family sit down meeting and you go, "Look, I know Santa Claus fucked shit up and decided to make it. It's crazy he exists, but just as a side." And then you have that meeting. You're like, as a family, I think we need to decide we're going to live by the OG rules, and we're only going to do Christmas once a year. We don't care if he's doing it every year. Good for him. We're just doing it one day a year. Problem solved.
Okay.
I feel like that's you have to agree. So, and then number 2, I'm going to go Jack Frost, because his thing was simply he turned it to a theme park.
That's true.
Again, you could still do family Christmas and
That's
friends
true.
and whatever else.
Yeah.
You could still participate. Number 1 is Clone Santa. He was just giving everyone coal and like he was doing. He was.
I think that is the correct order for now.
For now,
I mean, Jack Frost didn't stand by while elves were wiped from existence. Would be the only thing that kind of maybe he should be at the bottom of this list.
One or two's switchable, but 2 and 3.
2 and 3 is switchable. Yeah.
Number 1, I feel like solid.
Yeah.
Santa. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let us know what you thought of the latest episode of the Santa Clauses by going to explosion.com/Twitter or jump to our Discord at explosion.com/Discord. If you want to help us out here at a very Explosion Network Christmas, leave us a review on our podcast, Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars. Anyone can leave 5 stars, or just tell people about the show. And if you really like this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosion.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, remember, Christmas isn't just a day, it's a frame of mind.